I love them. Public report ban. We can't refuse it. Can't refuse it. Can't refuse it. My people can't refuse it. And we can't deny our history. And we must always talk about our history. We must hear the stories of our women on the front line bringing change. And you know I love my strong black women. And this book highlights courage and perseverance seen amongst the Jamaican women and the world wars. Now, I don't know if our women should have ever fought in the war. So I have my own personal opinions on black women fighting in the British Army. No, no, no. But maybe, yeah. But maybe this book will bring light and let us know what their contribution was. And talking about strong black women, I love women with natural hair and African-inspired clothing and doctors. Dr. Dayla Bean joins us right now. She is an amazing woman, a graduate coordinator and lecturer at the Institute for Gender and Development. Should I say a great human being? Yeah, it's not about man or woman.
Yes.
But this book is about Jamaican women and the world wars.
Yes,
on the front lines of change. How are you, Dayla?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good to see you, Doc.
Good to
Dr.
see you
Bean.
too.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about this book, before we go into the details of World War One. 100-something years ago,
Yes.
World War II later on, and our women and how they contributed, how they supported the army in the world wars. Give me a little synopsis of
Okay,
this book.
thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
So this book is, as the title says, Jamaican Women and the World Wars, and so it chronicles the kind of response that Jamaican women crafted for themselves to both international conflicts, which many call European civil wars, but eventually both spread beyond the domains of the European landmass as a result of the fact that Europe at that time had colonial holdings. And so those colonial holdings, like Jamaica, would have been very much involved in the wars at that time.
So let me ask you, how many Jamaican women served? Do we want to break it down from, let's start at World War One?
Right.
How many
So-
Jamaican women served?
So we don't actually have numbers like that for World War One because the service that women did at that time wasn't in the army. So you would have had some women serving as Red Cross nurses.
Right.
But the type of service that Jamaican women did during World War One was sort of auxiliary. So they worked at home doing fundraising. They turned knitting and sewing into like a complete commercial exercise, exporting hundreds of thousands of items all over the world to keep soldiers warm. Because part of the issue is that, yes, of course, you know, with the perils of service, but many were dying from cold and, you know, losing fingers from frostbite and so on and so forth.
wow.
So Jamaican women did a lot to actually provide warm clothing to soldiers and so on. So the service in Jamaica during World War One wasn't army service.
Right, okay.
But they did actually do quite a bit to recruit men for British West India Regiment.
Tell us about that recruitment process.
Yes. So prior to doing this work, I would have thought that the main means of recruiting would have been through, you know, posters and that kind of propaganda. But really, it was women who held large public demonstrations. And so this was one of the first times that we saw women on public platforms speaking to men, dragging men out of the crowd. You know, so it was, even when you look at the pictures, you see them pulling men out of the crowd, putting them on the platform to serve. So that was really interesting to find out that we played such an important role in that way. And shaming men almost to say, you know...
These are black men,
Yes, yes.
Jamaican black men.
Yes, yes. So,
Pre-independence.
oh, long before that, yes.
After everything we went through, Paul Bogle, Morant Bay, I mean, all of this, and we're talking about going to fight.
Yes, because loyalty was paramount at that time, which seems contradictory, as you're saying, because they would have been under such harsh economic circumstances and so on. But the bottom line is that they saw themselves as British. And, you know, Britain is in trouble, so we have to go help them. So there was curiosity among the men to serve, but really it was a woman who said, you know, we have a responsibility to make sure that Jamaica sends men. And overall, actually, about 10,000 Jamaican men served in the British West India Regiment in World War One.
Wow.
Yes.
The role of our great hero, Mary Seacole, is she mentioned in this book?
She is mentioned early on. She served in the Crimean War as a nurse, doctress. So she really kind of was an influential force for women carving out a niche to serve in the military. So not obviously in combat roles, but because Mary Seacole actually set up her hospital kind of hotel near battle, she was actually hurt during the Crimean War. Yeah.
Is it true that they didn't look after our black soldiers like they did the European soldiers at
Most
war?
definitely.
And therefore, we had to have people who helped our soldiers because they were left alone when they were injured?
Yes, and not only black actually. So nationalism would have the place of origin would have played a part. So even if you had white or near white, brown soldiers coming from Jamaica, they wouldn't necessarily have been given the type of treatment.
So once you had a drop of Negro blood, you were left on. You were left to die. I just want to just put that out there. It's my version of the history, but it's just fact. This book, though, tell us more that it highlights. We just got a minute to go through World War One, but when are we launching it, and how can we get this book?
So it's being launched next week, Monday, November 12th, at the University of the West Indies Regional Headquarters. Copies will be sold there. It's published by Palgrave Macmillan, so in terms of getting it, it's probably online and overseas until we get it in paperback.
Okay.
But I will have copies at the launch.
Excellent.
Yes, and that's at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. And anybody can attend?
Yes, it's open.
Absolutely amazing. This is going to be a great read. I can't wait. I buy everything. I'm buying a book.
Yes.
I would love to read this. Anything else you want to add as we close?
Just to say that during World War II, our women actually served in the British Army, and one or two of them are still alive, such as Ina Collymore Woodstock, who is 101 years this
Wow,
year. Yes.
where is she?
She lives between here and Barbados.
That's so
And she was
cool.
our first female judge. So it's as a result of her service and her law training in England that she came back and made such stellar contribution to Jamaica.
Oh,
So,
dynamic.
yes, it's lots of stories.
Oh, we need to tell our kids these stories.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, great book. Well, I haven't read it, but it sounds like a great book, and I can't wait
I
to
think
buy
it is. I think it is.
Yeah, we love history, and we can't wait to read about our great women on the front lines of change. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, author of Jamaican Women and the World Wars, Dr. Dayla Bean. Make sure you attend the launch and get this book. All right? Big up all the women watching right now. It's an opportunity to say, together we can. We can make a difference. All right, that's what's happening in the books. And run the bumper, man.